Do you talk to the moon at night from your bedroom window, or during the day, between classes, on the bus, when you know it's waiting, hidden in the daylight like a ghost? If you do, you might like poetry. If you sing to the blue-lit sky, to the grove of elm trees and the shop cats at the bodega, if you scream the name of the person you love into the wild and endless sea, if you know a history that has yet to be told and you dare to speak it, if you know how the right word at the right moment changes everything, you just might love poetry. Come delve into the wide range of poetry at Poetry Out Loud and be a detective of forms, an interpreter of meaning. Come find a community of wordsmiths, discover the camaraderie in competitive performance, and develop the confidence to read, recite, and share your voice with the world. Only you can know what the moon says back.
Welcome to Poetry Now. Today, we will present another episode on the Santa Barbara Anthology, A Feast for Santa Barbara, poets celebrating food and drink and labor. This anthology was created and edited by the Santa Barbara Poet Laureate, George Yatchison. Let's start this new episode with a foreword for this book.
Before you turn the first few pages of A Feast for Santa Barbara, consider yourself warned. Santa Barbara seeps its way through poem after poem, from first libations to beloved locations, from the harbor that sustains us to the markets that connect us, from the small pleasures to the rituals and ingredients that gather us in. This book reminds us that a place can be told as well as tasted. Whether you devour the whole book in one sitting or sip and savor a single poem at a time, I suspect you'll feel nourished. I count myself lucky that when I first arrived in Santa Barbara years ago, I landed in a poetry class at UC Santa Barbara, taught by Robin Bell. Sitting in a circle, listening to others read their work, and then writing and then reading my own was a watershed moment. Around the same time, I was learning some curious things about Santa Barbara that involved Tri-Tip and Cold Springs Tavern, the farmers market, the Isla Vista Food Co-op, fresh seafood at the harbor, and ordering spiny lobster at the end of Stearns Wharf. The poetry and the food, it all just fueled my hunger for more. That's the thing about poetry, those delightful bite-sized courses of language. You read, you pause to think, you savor. You step into someone else's world, their memory, their senses. Their poem might give you permission to dream of the past, or sigh with longing, or admit your hunger for connection. These poems will send you away inspired to eat and drink more of the local treasures, yes, but also to notice the histories and the hands behind them, and perhaps to write something yourself. I can think of no better tribute to Santa Barbara than to revel in the food and drink community that has evolved here. So please join me in raising a glass, taking a sip, and turning the page. And now I'd like to read the poem that I wrote that's included in the book. It's called Avocado Days. I would like to put my hand out to pick you from a tree and think about those summer days. Peel back the layers to a time when skin felt a little newer to the air. The rite of passage, mashing guacamole, inviting people over before the sun lengthened the shadows. It was those swimming spots before your eyes, the temperature of just after lunch that seemed to melt away one after another. But today, I try to stay green with a little lime and a dash of heat. The days that have less beginnings, foggy sweater mornings, reaching for muggy afternoons, and ending with the soft impact of the canyon breeze.
First bite, and I didn't expect the rush of tears. Wasn't it yesteryear's meme, crying while eating? All those people videoing themselves, eating while crying crocodile tears. Whenever I return from a trip away from Santa Barbara, I always order a Santa Barbara omelet from Mulligan's and the waitress who shares my name. Melinda rarely hands me a menu, knows how I will order a Santa Barbara omelet, but today I surprise her, ask for chorizo. I then surprise myself, cry into my breakfast. The day is December 5th, my mother's birthday. She would have been 76 this year. I remember the last time she cooked chorizo with eggs. We were at her friend's house, where we always felt at home. Mom, ever the experimenter, found mushrooms, cilantro, and cheddar cheese. I look up from my plate, see a woodpecker, its red-capped head easy to spot as it flits from palm to palm. Too many memories in the cold swirl of red eggs on my plate. Without asking any questions, Melinda takes my plate, returns with a Santa Barbara omelet with green sauce, black beans, and an English muffin. Next time, I will order the usual.
Each morning, under the wisteria blossoms, I walk past the table of floating islands, the dessert tray, and the cheese plate to where the maitre d' sits, white bib, tucked into his collar like a king, eating his daily omelet. "Good morning, Shushu," he says as we arrive to that vast blue and white painting called the Santa Barbara Riviera. The view is what people come for. That and a taste of the good life. Celebrities, honeymooners, and troikas of ladies. Once Robin Leach lifted a glass here to his fellow elites while I served a salad and cameras rolled. I waited on Joan Rivers, small and quiet in her big sunglasses. Waiters fought daily over who would bring a hamburger to Stevie Nicks in her bungalow. It was the days of the Nouvelle cuisine. Portions resembled tiny ballerinas dancing in a drizzle of sauce, a feather of green. The more exotic the entree, the better. Hippopotamus tongue was once a special. Conger eel, another. The walk-in refrigerator was my National Geographic hell. I've become an expert at the sleight of hand, the slipping of corks from their necks, the pop of champagne into my waiting napkin. In the kitchen, warm bread, waitstaff bent over, some precious untouched leftover for a taste of what we couldn't afford.
If steelhead is on the menu. Eyeing you above the crest of a menu newly printed today, I am decided. Imagining butterfly cuts, thanking gods for indignities, the suffering of beasts all in their time, our liminal wildness. A trout hatched in Arroyo Hondo, dreaming of movement. It wended its rainbow torso downstream. It kissed a stone, knew salt for the first time, remembered it always. Hurling into ocean unafraid, swallowing whole and new, the trout lost memory of its mother to become a mother. The taste is evidence of crossing, of exiting and arriving, of muscle and fat and ligament. From line or net, from icebox or transcontinental hole, to knife, to fire, to dish. Your skin in the moonlight off the sea, the skin of your face in the tea light looks flecked and marbled like a trout. You are a prism, more lustrous than your usual luster, ripe with sheen, glistening in citrus dew, earthy sweet like dill and tarragon. Another time, it would be my privilege to bone scale clean, to pierce skin butcher for you, to devour with you, to forget what we have devoured. Oh, the embellishments to these lives. Thank you.
Ahoy, bok choy. Ahoy, bok choy. And you too, tomato and avocado and all. From distant shores, you migrated here, finding space in local farms and gardens, the warm, wet winters welcoming your growing roots and shoots. I saw you in markets and wondered what people you nourish and nurture, what flavors of well-cultured worlds. When I finally brought you home, I was distraught, danger coursing through my blood, a time to learn supervenient vitality, to open my soul to newfound sustenance, embrace a palate of transplanted nutrient wisdom. So you became my culinary discipline, a cheerful chore of domestic integration, with gratitude for your journey to my big table.
I'm going to read my poem on the anthology about food and drink. It's called A Feast for Santa Barbara, and the poem is called Going Out After the Writing Workshop. It has an epigraph, which is a small quote from another writer. I'm rich and you're poor. A fellow writer. I mean, I'm delicate and flaky myself, but this guy wants to pan fry me. He wants to dredge me in the crumbling flour of his skin and cook me in his butter. He wants to traduce my other main hunger, the hunger for my own desire, the hunger for touch, the touch I want. I mean, I'm not a starving waif. I've been hungry some years, but not like my brother. He was hungry all his life and nothing could fill him. Yes, I've purchased a bag of sweet potatoes with the intention of making it last a week. Practice the art of imaginary food, making it up in gorgeous detail when little existed. But I've warned myself, standing in front of the warmth of the oven, stroking my breastbone and imagining the red silk and sugar of its flesh. Don't do this too much, I said, or anyone who sets out food will be able to tame you. And now, here was a trap set for me in an expensive restaurant in West LA by a man older than my father, and I had appreciated his syntax. I couldn't taste anything in my mouth. My tongue deserted me. No flavor, no savor, not one bite more. I blurted out, "You can't buy me," which insulted him. And he said, "No, no, no, you got me all wrong, darling." And I hate when a man demeans me with an endearment, a diminutive, with darling or honey. So I had to walk. And I've never had trout almondine again. I'm not a total waif either.
Gleaning. I take the quiz,
read the word, speak the word, and it rolls off my tongue as almond, like I'm sighing with pleasure at the remembrance of its crunch. This is how we say it here in my part of California. I can't say it the other way because my face contorts as if I'm choking slightly on something that tastes bitter. When I was in 6th grade, a classmate in my Girl Scout troop came from a family of Japanese farmers. They let us glean walnuts to sell after their fall harvest as their way of sustaining the community that they love so well. We went out on overcast November afternoons, stomping our dark blue vans through rich soil, kicking at the leaves to uncover our bounty. Then we heard how their family had been interned during the war. The community they loved had stopped loving them back. I don't know if it was Nanzanar they were sent to on buses without good brakes, but it seems likely. I don't know if they had to sell their orchard, or if someone cared for their land while they were gone, or if they only bought it after their release. I don't know what they ate while they were there, but inmates recount that going through the mess hall line was endless meals of moldy Vienna sausage bought in bulk, mutton stew without spices that stank across the camp, and cold jello plopped on top of hot rice. They mostly ate the rice. Carry a plate to a sick mother, and by the time you got there, the rice had turned brown from the endless dust storms. I do know that this was how I learned about concentration camps, and that my neighbors down the block had been held in one for years. Is it structural racism or casual racism to so readily announce an executive order that detains people indefinitely just because you can? Before we moved to Santa Barbara, my family would drive up from LA to see my grandparents and to eat at the original Sambo's. I loved that clever Indian boy, smiling from the colorful storyboards on the wall, who outsmarted the tigers so they turned themselves into butter. But I didn't understand that the Mama Mumbo pancake platter had a name that was eyebrow-raising. The owners excused themselves from criticism by pointing out that their restaurant name was simply a merging of their two names, an amusement, certainly not a slur. I sit on the bright orange banquettes at what is now called Chad's and scan the menu for pancakes with tiger butter, whipped cream, and almonds. Over my life, I have gathered information bit by bit, gagging on the parts that I couldn't stomach, searching for what is hidden to make sense of this world, until enough of those crumbs lead me home to the truth.
Hand grenade with its pin already pulled, once plucked from the grocery store shelf, an audible ticking begins. Tick, 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 boom. You have been on my kitchen counter for what seems like the blink of an eye, and you are already threatening to rot. To bear witness to the fact that I don't have my act together, that I am hanging on by a thread, that I can't handle responsibility. I can't even manage to eat an avocado. So I don't buy you. I avoid that side of the supermarket because from it emanates a low hum that sounds like a laugh. Even the Granny Smith apple, the most stable and forgiving of produce, knows that it will rot in the back of my fridge, yet continue to stay there, rotten, for God only knows how long. If only I could sew together the edges of my life that keep me this way, but not today.
You are a child of summer. I hear you crying as if you can climb back up to the sky into God's arms. Here in the palm of my hand, you roll as if smiling. You are getting used to me, soft as my cheek, barely furred, pink and orange. You remember the tree limb where you once started from seed and grew each day As green leaves fanned you, you became plump and juicy. You are falling asleep in my palm. I will not take a bite of you. I will not taste your sweet flesh. As I wash your body, you wake. I towel dry you and place you in the cool refrigerator. I set up a canvas and squeeze out paint, take you out and place you on a plate. As you pose, I lift my brush and begin your portrait. After my son eats you and licks his lips, my painting hanging on the wall reminds me of how plump, colorful, and soft you once were.
Ode to the Good Lion. After Ernest Hemingway, The Good Lion, a children's story. Because I like a pretty bar that serves cocktails named Strange Beasts, I raise my glass to the Good Lion, and again to Ernest Hemingway, who made the lion good, who gave him golden wings to match his name, and a distaste for zebras, wildebeests, and antelope. The Good Lion preferred to eat tagliatelle and drink Negronis. Of course, in our world, there is no good without bad, and the bad lions made fun of the good lion's wings and called him a son of a griffin. It is the same old story, the plain-nosed reindeer shunning Rudolph. These bad lions were so bad, they were wicked. Besides their usual prey, they ate people. They ate Swahilis, Umbulus, and Wanderobos. The most prized delicacy of all, portly princes, rare and delicious. One day, the wickedest lioness wanted to taste the good lion's wings, but he escaped her claws caked with the bloody, portly prince and rose into the air, a golden apparition of goodness. The bad lions roared, and the wind from his wings blew them to the ground. The good lion left the savage beasts of Africa and flew home to Venice to visit his ancient bronzed father, still guarding the basilica in St. Mark's Piazza with undying devotion. Hungry and thirsty from his journey, he stopped in Harry's bar. A Negroni, Signor Baroni, as Mr. Ciparoni? No, answered the good lion, surprising even himself, for Africa had changed him. I'll have a dry martini made with Gordon's gin. And do you happen to have any portly prince sandwiches? Once more, I raise my glass to the good lion and to Ernest Hemingway, who made the lion good and just a little bit bad.
The best in Santa Barbara. For an A, I'd write about the pomegranates on my neighbor's vine. Purple leather outside, slimy sweet within. But I won't write for grades. Instead, I'll praise the simple meals on East Ortega. Spaghetti bolognese, cheese quesadilla, French bread. A vine of grapes, a watermelon, berries. Green cartons of whole milk, and a bowl of 2% thick grated cheddar. Food made with love, with hope, with understanding. Blossomed from the pocket, the hand, the heart of a volunteer. Swallowed by the stomach, the hand, the heart of the unhoused. A warm meal, the best in Santa Barbara.
Thank you for watching. Our gratitude goes to all the poets included in this anthology.
Do you talk to the moon at night from your bedroom window, or during the day between classes on the bus when you know it's waiting, hidden in the daylight like a ghost? If you do, you might like poetry. If you sing to the blue-lit sky, to the grove of elm trees and the shop cats at the bodega, if you scream the name of the person you love into the wild and endless sea, if you know a history that has yet to be told and you dare to speak it, if you know how the right word at the right moment changes everything, you just might love poetry. Come delve into the wide range of poetry at Poetry Out Loud. and be a detective of forms, an interpreter of meaning. Come find a community of wordsmiths, discover the camaraderie in competitive performance, and develop the confidence to read, recite, and share your voice with the world. Only you can know what the moon says back.